Here is my broken down, busted up DR-Z4S. I smashed it up a week ago tomorrow. Today's Friday, so it was a week ago tomorrow, Saturday, that I smashed the left side radiator. So I've got that radiator sent off for repair, but I've got a lot of videos in the works before I smashed it up. I just haven't edited them yet. So here's a quick intro to a video that I did the day before that I crashed this, so a week ago from today. And what we are doing on that ride is I'm taking the bike through the same section of road or fire break that I had done my ride test in ride mode A and ride mode C on. First I did a ride mode C video, then later I did a ride mode A video. I think I did those two rides on consecutive days, probably a Thursday and then a Friday. So on this particular ride, I go through that same section again. It's an old fire break, and then it kind of turns into a road. It goes through some pretty busted up logs and whatnot, and then kind of veers off to the left a little bit, and then parallels the old busted up log section, and then pops back down onto the main route, and then eventually more or less turns into a road, and then it becomes an obvious road, and then we go up a hill, down over the other side, and then we drop down to the main road that leads you to Ardenvor on the Washington Backcountry Discovery Route. I don't include that entire section, just a portion of it where I'm testing out ride mode A, and I put it through its paces pretty good this time around. When I first popped off of the main road onto the old fire break, I actually just let go of the throttle, let the clutch out to see how the bike would motor along by itself. And I was actually pretty impressed. It did flame out exactly where I had expected it to once I kind of got through the road a little bit. So there was a little bit of an incline, about probably a foot to a foot and a half high. And of course the bike struggled to maneuver up that little incline with no throttle input, and it died. But during the time that I was running the throttle, once I got past that little hilly point, I manipulated the throttle very carefully and gave it just a little bit of input here and there, closed it, opened it, closed it, opened it, did that a bunch of times. And I was really amazed. It's a pretty good testament that this bike has perfect fueling conditions, especially in ride mode A, where the throttle is a lot more snappy and has a lot more punch to it when you give it a little bit of throttle. So there's a lot more application of fuel on ride mode A in a given position of the throttle than there is in ride mode B or C. So far up to this point, I have only been riding in ride mode C, other than the two times that I have put it into ride mode A and done this testing. So let's go ahead and get into that ride test. Okay, I've got traction control in G mode. ABS is fully off, and I just switched into rider mode A. And I still swear that ride mode A has more engine braking than ride mode C. It just seems weird how that would be possible, but that's the definite feel that I get. The throttle is a lot snappier, which I mentioned in the previous video I did on ride mode A, and I'm actually going to ride the exact same section that I've done my ride mode A and ride mode C comparison. And I'm going to put the bike through its paces a little bit more. Basically, ride mode A, I would say it increases the fun factor by about 10. Because she will get up and scoot. It is really windy today. change ride mode, we just hit the mode button once, and then we can, right now I'm in A, so I hit the down arrow once to go to B, once to go to C, and then I hit the mode button again, and then again. You have to hit it twice if you want to just skip right back to no adjustment mode. If you hit it just once, then you're in the mode where you're changing the traction control. So if all you want to do is change ride mode and not traction control, once you've made your selection, just hit the mode button twice. So I'm back in ride mode C. Yeah, it's definite feeling of more engine braking in ride mode A. So we're gonna go mode, up, mode, and I did all that without looking. Whoops, I didn't hit the mode button firmly the second time, and it was in traction control adjust mode. So ride mode A, here's our fire brake. So I'm just going to poke along as slow as I can possibly go. And that's no throttle input. Let's see if it'll manage to go up some of these little bumps okay. Yeah, so far it is. I'm sure that I could get to a point of the steepness of the terrain where the bike would die, but that's expected due to the fact that it needs more throttle input than the computer can probably provide. It's about to flame out. Whoa. Just hold on to something here. Wow. So if it flames out, I can stabilize the bike. Holy smokes, this is freaking amazing. It's like on autopilot. Okay, the ground levels out just a little bit here. And then we're gonna go downhill just a tad and then up. Let's see what happens. Now here is gonna be a real test of it. Going up off to the left. I fully expect it to die. Yep. Yeah, but that was a good test. And there's only so much the computer can do. But that was very impressive. So I have no throttle input right now. Let's just kind of feather the throttle just ever so slightly. It kind of bogged when I thought I could just pop up over that log. Now I wish I could come across another little jump to go over. But there is none of that on-off feeling to the throttle and fueling. I can twist the throttle just enough to give it some fuel, and it just motors right along. It doesn't feel or have any kind of snappiness or snatch to it, or glitchiness or whatever. And then we could just rip along when we want to. Yeah, the throttle response in A mode is so much snappier. And we got some intake noise that I have mentioned in one of those other videos. So in ride mode A, this totally feels like my KTM 450. Other than the fact that the bike's a tad bit heavier. So I'm in third gear right now. We really need to be in second going down this hill. But it's seriously like a dang cheat code. Between having the ride modes and traction control. Now, if I'd had traction control turned to normal mode, I'm sure that or turned off, I know that I would have spun my tire when I grabbed a handful of throttle back there. So in my 1,000-mile review video, this is where there was a big cluster of people stopped. Now I could tell the traction control was trying to kick in right there because the bike was kind of making a bog sort of a sound. I think this just goes up here and dead ends into a little camping area. Yeah, it does. Neat little spot though. That is a road that used to go somewhere. This is what I love about having a dual sport bike, is just getting out and exploring stuff. And you can travel distances so much faster on this backcountry terrain than you can in a four-wheeled vehicle. But you don't have the ability to camp in comfort like you did if you were in a four-wheel drive vehicle and had all kinds of space to haul gear and whatnot. But you know, you can still camp off of a bike. This is like completely chewed up from the 2 motorcycle events that came through here. So in second gear, we're just kind of motoring along. Right at the point where the bike is about to bog out and die.